I came here just to figure out who are the ladies amongst you.
The ladies? Yeah.
It said ladies and gentlemen, so...
It's 2009.
Can be, yeah.
So he used to be...
Did I send you that picture?
He used to be called Adam.
Did I send you that picture?
See, if we start at a very low place in conversation, we'll get somewhere.
That's how it works.
It's either you or my dad.
Basically, so he has a... Ladies and gentlemen... Gentlemen.
Ari.
That's even crazier than like... That's right. I see what you're saying.
Glad to see you're a Spurs
That's
fan.
actually... You can get sued nowadays.
Oh, mate.
You get sued for saying hello to someone in the wrong way.
You see that?
You get sued for being a Spurs fan.
Yeah, sure.
Aaron, you get a suit. Now identifying you. Yeah, two suits. One for you, one for seven.
Oh, we got soups. We got the same.
There's only one. There should be two. So there's another one there. There's no problem. No problem.
Alice is good.
And the cigar rim as well.
Alice is good. So guys.
Okay, guys, listen up. And he has a Goldsmith, aka Midnight Rabbi.
Yeah, Midnight Rabbi.
Midnight Rabbi.
Where's the Midnight Rabbi?
Midnight Rabbi, Neve.
Finished before midnight.
He used to have a job.
Yeah,
He used to have a job in the vein.
Werewolf. Turn into a nookie.
Alright, go.
Keep the boys occupied from 12 till 4.
No, thank God I first things first. You have to,
I'm in your video.
Sorry,
no, it's all right. You have to give. You're a good-looking dude.
Are you doing a
Yeah.
live stream?
No, not live stream. You have to give. I'm not doing all that kind of stuff on this trip. I'm just keeping it chilled. I'm obligated to give a little bit of credit to where credit's due, as he used to say back in the day. Where the credit's due. Jew? No, Jew. Yeah. Thank you, man. So what's credit due? Credit due is to Ari and to Nuhi, because definitely they're the elders amongst us. Yeah. I'm not going to ask them how old they are now, but we definitely had a relationship. I remember meeting Ari a long time ago, and it was a small little centre. Actually, was actually bigger then. But sorry to bring that up. But it was like this big place, clubhouse, club girls, club this, club that. It was very impressive, and Ari, thank God, is a role model for me because he's someone who has persisted in the most important part of the Jewish people, which is you guys. That is respect. Respect is due, because the young men, teenagers of our generation is where the biggest battleground is for all of us, including myself. And I was the Midnight Rabbi, so I know it. I mean, maybe I still am. But the concept of being a young guy in this generation, being a teenager, like respect to you guys, you're the soldiers of our generation. When I was a teenager, it was like, you go to a video store, and the worst you could do is get away with pretending to be 18 and get a porno or something. That was about as best as you could get. Now it's like, I don't need to go to any store, I don't need to pretend anything. It's like, I could do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, and there's no one going to stop me, and no one's going to know, and everyone, even if they know, I don't even care. So it's like a generation where it's like, within my short lifetime, things that were like difficult to do are, in your face, whether you want it or not. So when you're a guy in this generation, I'm being very frank with everybody, yeah? If you know what Frank, you know who Frank is? Good guy, Frank Bruno. But being very straight, yeah? I'm being very straight, because being straight's unusual, so... got a bit of humour, gotta have it. That was a good joke, actually. Quite impressed. Yeah. So, I'm going to try not to get too bent off course, if you know what I mean. So, wow, I've really lost all my political correctness. I'm fired already, No more rabbi job. So, and now you know why the rabbis don't employ me. You get the point, yeah. So that's why Ari asked me to come. Actually, funny enough. No, but what it comes down to, when you have a place like Rabbi Leaman and Rabbi Chizuk, we have to give them respect seriously, and Rabbi Lolu, and really these guys are doing what you guys need, and what I need is we need you guys to succeed. That's what it's about. Like seriously, let's get down to goals here. including our friend who's been around a while, a bit longer than some of you guys, we all need to succeed in life. And what does it mean to succeed? Like, how do we define success? You know?
Pass on our knowledge to the youngers.
What's your name? Mr. Breuer is saying passing our knowledge on to the next generation. So I do have a whole brand I'm busy with called Amuna is Our Future. The future is very important, like children, education, the next generation. But there's another way of looking at it, which I agree with you, by the way, but it's good to think of other ways also. A rabbi once said, very cleverly, his name's actually Zachariah Wallerstein, and he said in his class, I think you hosted him one time? No, I'm sure you have. So he once said this idea, like, when does it stop? It's always about the next generation. Like, what about this generation? What about me? What about father now, not the next generation? Like, where's this idea? I'm doing it for my child. I'm doing it for him. But like, what about you? You know, that's a big principle that we have to remember. That, you know, it's important about the next generation, but really it starts here. It starts now. It starts with you. The next generation don't come not for you guys. You know, like, you are building the next generation. So really it comes down back to you. It's not just about your children. So we've got to take responsibility for where we're at right now, who we are right now, and make a plan a little bit how we're going to succeed, how we're going to have a good life. You know, so one of the things I'm very into talking about is being effective living. You know, like using your time in this world effectively. And the world is all about not using your time effectively. Like, you can literally binge Netflix endlessly. I mean, back in the day when I was in Neve days, remember, it was like a big deal. A guy would have a laptop. Just picture it, how it used to be in the old days. And this is not so long ago. He'd have a laptop and he'd have a drive, and he's like, you know, ich bin a Chassidische Boche. He was like a Chassidische guy, yeah, from a Chassidische neighborhood. And suddenly he's in Neve, somehow he got there. He managed to crash enough cars, like, and when I mean cars, it was his father's car. And his father was like the Rosh Yeshiva of like the biggest yeshiva in America. And he did it on Friday night in front of all the guests into the house. Yeah. So that's how he made his way into Neve. Yeah. So that was his, like, you know, entrance. You know, like, he had to do something really crazy, on drugs as well, and alcohol, and a few other things. With a girl next to him. No, I'm joking. That part I don't know. But who was next to him, I don't know. But he did that. That did happen.
Touching my car. Even now, frightens me.
So I agree. You haven't met my father, but I agree. Yeah, he's the same kind of guy. So I never touched my father's car.
I wouldn't touch my dad.
No.
I mean, I can as well.
I was scared. And I'm like coming up to 40 and he still never let me drive in his car.
Well, so we had my older brother driven my dad's car.
But I mean, this guy was not allowed to drive his father's car, and it was Shabbat, and it was a Rosh Yeshiva, and everyone saw it, and he was underage. Like, everything was going wrong at this moment.
What was the reason for going into Neve?
I was known as the Midnight Rabbi. The truth is, I just wanted to see Nuki once in a while. That was really what it came down to. But
Nuki, what were you doing in Neve?
Stole his father's car.
Look, you grew up in Stanfield.
so, yeah, leave Nuki alone, poor guy.
Look, you look like
So now look, this guy's sitting there. He's got his laptop. This Hasidic guy. I mean, this guy happened to was more yeshivish, but he was sitting next to the Hasidic guy who gave him the drive, and it was this drive. And every single movie up until 2004 or whatever it was, 2008, when was it? 2009, I don't even remember anymore. It was about 10 years ago, so about 2009, let's say. Had everything, yeah, Barak Chef, that was Netzach already. So, he was in Neve. Oh, he was a student. Yeah. He was in Kesher, right? Benji Isaac. Yeah, I want to talk about Benji also. I miss Benji. Oh, good old Gingy Spurs fan. So, anyway, so we got to Neve days, and he's sitting there with the laptop, with the drive. Remember those things, drives? You know, now you have clouds and whatever, but the drives, yeah. Like, and clouds can be for other reasons also, but you know, hotbox kind of clouds. But he's sitting there with the drive, yeah. And the worst thing is, it's coming out of the machines. That's what freaks me out now. Everyone's smoking these machines. I mean, are you crazy? I was with my boys last night, and you know, they're like in their also late 30s, and they're asking me, you know, Ellie, you want a toke? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I says, yeah, this is like, you know, the e-cigs, but like with the weed. Yeah. And my boys, other boys, like, oh wow, this is good, man. And I'm like, I'm married, I've got kids, you know, I'm meant to be like a respectful guy, you know, I'd ruined that already by the way I've spoken, but I'm meant to be a respectful guy, you know, like, so, you know, I gotta like maintain, like, I've been clean over 20 years, thank God, like, I think I'm gonna continue, thank you, bro, so I didn't take it, but the point is, back to the laptop and the drives, we don't have that anymore, now it's Netflix, you can binge it Netflix, like, honestly, I'll be straight with you guys, I went onto Netflix, yeah, honestly, my own house, holy home, rabbi, all this stuff. Went onto Netflix, got addicted to Suits. And everyone's watched Suits? Got addicted to Suits. I literally wasted a month of my life. As soon as they asked me for money, I said no way, because I'm Jewish. Yeah, that's what they asked me. Why won't you pay? I said I'm Jewish. I said I've got another credit card. I'm going to go use it. I did. I really wrote that. I'm Jewish. So now you know why they're anti-Semitic, because they got the real answer finally. Yeah. So I didn't sign up. But the main reason was because I literally wasted a month. And plus, once Mike, who everyone knows who Mike is in Suits, once he left the show, I was like,
I know, it's just not Suits.
It's not the same, no.
I know.
So I couldn't be bothered, he knows. I couldn't be bothered with it anymore. But really what I'm getting at is, I literally wasted a month of my life. So wasting time is the key of this generation. This is the key to not life, not a real life. And this is the biggest challenge. Like, I made this whole concept of living effective, and I said, what is the biggest way of serving other gods, or, you know, being distracted, or being like pulled away from what real Judaism is distractions and wasting time. I mean, there's a famous actor, I'm a bit dating myself here, but it's a good line. Woody Allen said it. You know, you had Shais Taub, he quotes this quote. Yeah, he's a good rabbi, Shais Taub. If you ever have anything like real burning question, write him a letter, send him an email. I've met him a few times, very special rabbi. I read his article every week with my wife in Ami.
What's the letter?
It's a life-changing. Yeah, I mean email, whatever. Sorry, text him, WhatsApp him, you know. I don't think he has a Snapchat, whatever it's called, Snapchat or Stitcher or any of that stuff, but Instagram I don't think he's there also. Twitter, tweet, you leave that to Trump. So now, what happens, is I'm thinking about this whole thing, this concept with Shais Taub, and what does Woody Allen say? Woody Allen, good quote. He said, God is a distraction. Now, he got it a little bit wrong, because it's actually, we're distracted from God, but actually he got it right, because if Shais Taub quotes it, must be got it right, I think I'm going to quote it. But the idea of, what does it mean, God is a distraction?
Because Torah is so powerful that obviously God brought the Torah to the Jews.
There's a rabbi here. Okay, so now the idea of that deep connection that Torah like distracts us from the world, that's a positive way of understanding it. But then there's also the other way of understanding that connection with God is really what it's all about. Like, I just spoke in Rabbi Tawil's program. Oh, yeah, exactly. The whole point. No, it's exactly what I spoke about. And that whole thing of like blowing your nose, of just like really loudly in the middle of a class, it was like all about connection and focus and relationship, and that's like everything the world isn't. Yeah, exactly. Everything. Good job. Everything the world isn't is not. You're just disconnected. Like you're not in it. So like, I'll give you an example. Yeah, there's nothing worse for a woman. I mean, you guys know what women are. Yeah, I'm not talking to the Cedar kids here.
Depends if they're straight or not.
Straight? No, we got some good ideas. No, a woman wants connection. The worst thing you can do is say, here, take my credit card. No, truth is they love that. But honestly though, a real woman, a woman who honestly is in touch with it, the kind of woman you really want to marry, not someone who's just going to spend all your money, yeah? A woman who's actually going to...
They both do it.
They're going to do that anyway, but the point is at least there should be some like purpose to it all. So, of the spending the money. So, what you want is you want a relationship, and that's what she really wants, much more than you, honestly. Yeah, like the famous joke by Y.Y. Jacobson, another good guy. Got to bring him here. Yeah, he came. Didn't come. Got to bring Y.Y. Jacobson here. His top speaker, not this second class hat going on over here right now, but a real speaker. Yeah, he says like a good joke. He says like this: you have a guy going out with a girl. You know what? I'm not like scaring you. No. Yeah, I'm like.
Wait, look at me.
No, I don't know. I'm not. You know.
You're the one blushing.
I So sorry, man. Didn't mean to embarrass you. Seriously, I asked.
So you're talking about straight and
Straight to bed. So like the guy, so the guy and the girl going out, and who's doing all the listening? Good job, Lolly. The girl's doing all the listening, yeah, because guys like to, man, I'm talking big, and the girl's like, wow, yeah. And then you get married, yeah, and who does all the listening? Well, he pretends he's doing the listening, but supposedly, yeah. Now, what happens then? They've been married a while. I've been married almost 18 years. Respect. How long, Ari? How long? Even more respect. Nuki.
17.
Respect. Oh, come on. We're like achievers here. That in itself.
How long? Coming up to 14 or 15.
Well, that in itself, in this generation, that is like an achievement.
28 years.
Exactly. Now, who's doing all the listening now? Married guys. You're doing, she's doing.
Are you actually doing the listening?
This is why I don't think I'll get married. I don't think I can listen.
Who's doing all the? It's true. But who's doing all the listening? No. Good, almost. No. There's kids are usually doing a runner at that point. Who's doing the listening?
No, they're prowling on you generally.
Who? The neighbours. Come on, you don't. Yeah, that's the joke. Yeah. I know, thick walls, and I'm in Israel with thick walls.
People have been living with each other.
But you go to camps, or once in a while you actually encounter another human being outside in the other building. No, it does happen. So in Israel they hear everything. It's crazy. Yeah? So you've got to make sure your neighbours are somewhat normal, otherwise you don't sleep much. Everyone shouts. Yeah. I live in like off Shmuel and Novi. So, but the idea is there's meant to be this relationship. There's meant to be this like connection where you actually are listening to someone. So I know myself, and honestly, like we're going to get down to like something a bit serious. Elul, Rosh Hashanah, this whole like heavy thing coming up, Yom Kippur. So I tell you one thing, I tell it to the guys tonight, Rabbi Tawil. I think they got it. I think, I felt like I was listened to, and it was a good feeling. And that's the point I'm saying. When you're really listened to, like all of you have your thing. Like when someone you meet, like say Ari, or someone that actually really listens, not like these pretending people, but people that actually listen and care. Like they're genuine. That's why they're such, special people. They actually care. They're genuine. And you guys probably are also. I don't know you guys yet, but imagine, like you seem like you're listening. So like you really want to listen. Like you really want to hear the voice of that other person that's going through that thing or going through that struggle and that moment. That is what Hashem's doing during, like the shofar's there just to like signify, like not that you're deaf, but like the idea that you're actually being listened to and he's listening and it's a relationship. Something's happening over here. It's not, it's this is a real live, event going on. Like there's shofars, like you go. I don't know if you guys go to things like Tomorrowland. I hope you don't. Yeah. But like that kind of crazy rave, like DJs, like everything, fire, lights. That's really what's happening in Judaism. That for me was the only way I'd be through. If it was a bunch of boring old men going like this, and and all these covered up people and crazy machines, I would not have chosen this path. Trust me. I was in the top of that world, and I didn't need this. I chose this path because I saw like the Tomorrowland, but in Olam Haba style, like Judaism live, energized, like power, energy, people who are like on fire. It's real. It affects you on the deepest level. Like this is like powerful, impactful. It takes over your like whole being. So that was like the Judaism I was looking for. And if I would have been this boring stuff that I grew up with in United or whatever it was, not putting them down, but that's what my experience was as a kid. Yeah. So for me, it was like, this is the most like unspiritual thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to go like, to India or something, And I didn't end up going to India. I'll tell you what happened. I went to a store, before I got to India, I went to a store in Camden, and I was looking for every other religion other than Judaism. Obviously, like I said, it was like boring. So I'm looking around, and I see this book in the middle of this store, spirituality, self-help books. This was in the 90s. It was a little bit less, but there was all that whole still industry was still growing, and every other religion, Buddhism and Islam, and and all the different spiritualities, like this Celestine prophecy. I don't know if you ever heard of this stuff, and like all this like aura light stuff, and nowadays mindfulness, all this stuff that's out there. And I walked into this store, and I saw a book, Jewish Meditation by Ari Kaplan. I didn't know who he was, never heard of any rabbis, it meant nothing to me. But I went in, bought it, because it can't be there's something spiritual in Judaism. That I never heard about. no one ever communicated. There was, my father for sure not. Like, no one ever talked about spiritual Judaism, especially not the Reform rabbi. He looked a bit like the Dark Emperor, so it was more like, no, he looked seriously. But the one who permitted me was standing there like, Eli, you stay with the dark side, like literally. And I was like, I'm getting out of here. So this is messed up. Anyway, so, and I did get out of there. I had nothing to do with Judaism for like a bunch of years. So I bought it, and I went to university, and I read it, honestly, from cover to cover, and I actually thought about what it was writing, and I was like, no way. Judaism is spiritual. I didn't know that. Yeah, I went to Sfat, Judaism spiritual. I went to the Kotel, Judaism spiritual. Like, wow. Like and I don't mean like pretend spiritual, like real, like life, like energy, like power, like all the dynamics you're looking for, on a high or whatever you imagine's out there. It was in Judaism. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like a whole big switcheroo. Like, what? Me being Jewish is actually relevant, and there's something like authentic and powerful here. Like I can actually have a real relationship with a woman and not just a one night stand. I can have like a real relationship with God, and it's not like gonna mean I'm like part of some cult and they're gonna like own my bank account. Like, this is actually legit. Like it was like a real mind changer, because I met a lot of people claiming and they were pointing to themselves, but like now I actually met the real thing, like God himself, like not talk to me like a prophet, but it was like, this is real. Something's happening here. So that is what I would suggest, like on a simple level, for each of us, on a real way, for a little moment, if we can do it, squeeze it out during these special days coming up. It's just try, allow yourself. It's really to do with you, nobody else. No, not to do with Ari, not to do with me, not to do with your mum, your dad, your brother, or the teacher who knows did what. Like, seriously, it's not to do with anybody. This is between you and your soul and God. Can you have an intimate moment? Seriously. Yeah. No, I like that. That was a good reaction. Can you have that intimate moment where that experience is not there? Can you have that moment where you are actually, you know what? I'm actually going to talk to you, God. I'm actually going to face you for 1 minute. You know what? All this standing and shul, I know there's loads of words I need to say and all this stuff, but I'm actually going to think about you're the king. And I'm going to crown you on my life. You know what? You actually knew what you were doing better than I did. And you know what? I'm actually going to have a relationship with you this year. You know what? I'm actually going to accept your will for 5 seconds. Maybe I want to go back to everything else afterwards, but I'm not going to be distracted for this minute. And I'm going to be focused, and I'm going to have a relationship with you for a little minute. And that, if you could do that for that 1 minute, even if it's 1 minute, literally, or less even, could even mean less, because things are moving quick now. I was saying to the guys tonight, Rabbi Will, if you go to watch a movie from 20 years ago, or even more, they had, like, the further back you go, they had long movie scenes. You guys don't know about this because you probably haven't watched, unless you've watched old movies. I grew up watching old movies because I loved, especially black and white, they're the best. But like, they actually had moments where you were actually just looking at the guy, like feeling emotion, and it was slow, and it was a process, and there was an experience. Now it's like, you go watch a movie, especially the action ones, they're the worst. But it's just like every preview, everything's just like sugar, like ADHD, like hyper, sugar hyper, like it's like wah! And like, you can't even like pause for a second to like even like feel anything, think anything. It's just like blah! And that's like how we're getting like impacted by our phones and everything. I'm including myself. Like I'm run a social media site with like hundreds of thousands of followers, and I've got it on my head even right now. I'm in Israel, and like it's like nuts because there's hundreds of thousands of people and they want to get hold of you. You're like the guy managing the site, and they want this and they want that, and other people want to use the site, and you're like, woo! You start going mad. And like, I'm also booking artists, because in Israel you got to hustle. So booking artists, and like Nissan Black, and I got this guy and this musician, that musician, and this place, and they want to make a show. Zusha was hitting me up. I need a venue for this sukkahs, and this was just now, and a few hours ago, speaking to the manager. Zusha is a well-known Jewish band, and I'm helping them out, and everyone's like hitting you up. Ari, like, we're trying to talk about coming here tonight, but that's like within 50 other things going on. Yeah, forget about having kids and blah 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 blah. You're going like out your head, off your head. So now you're standing Rosh Hashanah, and you say, "Shut up, all right? No more phones. Just give me a break, please. I need to be a human being for 1 minute. Yes, I came into this world. I'm not a phone. This phone does not own my life as much as it wants to. I'm a human being. I even have feelings. Like I actually care about something, and I don't have to answer you. Leave me alone. And you can have a little bit of separation. It might feel a little bit anxious for a moment, but just take a break. Like just give me a break from this like manipulation going down here, and let me just like be a person for a minute. And I can stand Rosh Hashanah or Shabbat or any other time where you disconnect to reconnect, and I can just block off these distractions, just have a moment with God, a moment with my soul, a real moment in time. And I'm telling you, like, as a husband, like, and a father, when you do that, it's amazing. You actually start to live for a minute. And your children are like, wait a minute, where's the phone? They're like waiting for you to to go like this in front of their face. Take the phone and go, get out of my face. I'm busy, more important than you. I'd like to just say to them, you know what? This phone, you're more important. And they're like, really? You actually really think I'm more important than the phone? Prove it. You start having withdrawals and they're like, Daddy, you alright? No, I don't need them. There's someone trying to get hold of me. I'm like, but I'm here for you. I want to go play football. Let's play football. And you're like, yeah, okay. The phone's in your pocket every so on. But to just say, phone, leave me alone. Seriously. No, just leave me alone. I want to talk to you, God. I want to talk to you, friend. I want to be actually in your room. You are a bunch of teenagers now who are actually sitting here and listening, and you're not one of the reasons why I gave up being a rabbi, and forgive me, God, but I did. In terms of doing it as a job in yeshiva with a Gemara Shir and a Musa Shir and all this stuff that rabbis do. And I stopped doing it because I watched the generation get more and more into this, and the yeshivas weren't able to really, in this yeshiva, keep the phones out of the room. And I was literally just messaging them the whole shir. That was my shir. I was like, come on guys, where are you? Facebooking and getting them, finding them there, WhatsApping, and come on guys, you need to... I was like, wait a minute, I'm not teaching anything. I'm not doing it. I'm not even talking to the guy, because the guy, he's completely gone somewhere else. I walked into the room at night and they'd be lying there with the phone, asleep with the phone in their hand. I'd be like, oh God. This is nuts. And I was just thinking to myself, am I wasting my time? Because I want to, I also need to support my family. I've got other things to do. So, what's the answer? One, it's never a waste of time. But two, Ari, Nuki, they haven't given up. Yeah, they haven't given up on you. They haven't given up on me. They let me come here. I don't know why, but they let me come here. Yeah. So the point is, because there's a point to this whole discussion that we're having right now. Because I'm not just talking to myself. I hope that we're actually remembering that Rosh Hashanah, Yom Zichron, Hashem is saying, each one of us, I don't know all your names yet, but each person, you're important. I'm making you another year of life. I'm looking at you, and you know what? I'm going to take the best moment you have in Rosh Hashanah, the best moment you have in Yom Kippur, and the best moment on Hoshana Rabbah, and the best moment on Hanukkah, and all these special times in the year, and that's how I'm going to remember you. That's how I'm going to make this new year to come, because He loves us that much. That's how He does it. He doesn't take the moment where you're outside half the time and not interested and you're bored, you don't want to... Suddenly you just have this good moment and you're like, wait a minute, I actually feel connected. I actually feel a little bit spiritual for a minute. Yeah, I feel like there's something happening here. I'm having a moment of connection, and you shouldn't think too much into it. Just allow it to be. That's a very important rule in mindfulness nowadays. You should allow yourself to just be in that moment and just appreciate a moment of freedom from all the noise and enjoy it. And be blessed with that merit that you touched your soul. You had a moment of connection. You should be blessed. Please go with a beautiful year. And I can't wait to see you all next time. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.